Hello everybody, I'm posting this to YouTube because I've got a fairly classic problem with my Mark IV VW Golf. Mine's a TDI ASZ engine, not that that really matters, where my one of my rear doors, this one happens to be my rear near side door, won't open. Doesn't open on the inside handle, it's kind of off at the moment, but it doesn't open on the handle. Doesn't open on the button, and it doesn't open on the outside handle either. Exactly the same thing happened on my rear offside door about 2 years ago. Cost me about 300 notes to get it sorted out. I basically took it to a VW specialist. He managed to work his magic, get in the vehicle, changed the lock mechanism, which you can see here, which I'm going to do myself, and give it back to me. And when I asked how he did it, it was basically one of those trade secrets he wasn't willing to divulge. So looked on loads of forums, looked on YouTube, seen loads of other clips of all sorts of other ways of fixing it. Some people talk about shorting out some terminals in this connector block by connecting up a 12-volt drill battery. Tried that, didn't work. Some people say about basically kicking fuck at the door from the inside or the outside. That didn't work. Some people said try the handle and press the button repeatedly at the same time while you've got somebody going on the outside, while you've got somebody else kicking fuck out the door as well. Well, I've done all that, I've tried all that, didn't work. So I'm posting this because I'm not seeing anybody else do it this way, but basically in the last half hour I've managed to get my door card off and get my door open, and it's basically taken me one screwdriver and I think that's a T20 Torx Allen key. So the reason I need the T20 Torx Allen key is because down at the bottom of the door, down here, you see one white hole and a second one around the corner just there. That's where the screws are located. There was a post on YouTube that basically said the guy spent, I think it was over an hour, hour and a half, kind of a quarter of a turn each, with I've no idea what device, but after an hour he managed to get it off. Well, using a T20 Torx Allen key took me best part of 15 seconds. So I've got both the screws out the bottom. The next thing to do is, you see these guides that go all the way along the top of the door. Well, you just need to be fairly careful, but pull the far side up, slide your finger in and pull it all the way up, and essentially the door just unclips. So there's those two screws, the ridge along the top. Then you'll be greeted with this cable, which just locks on there. So just peel that up and out of the way, that plastic part there. These two electrical connectors, they need to come off for the speaker and probably the electric windows. Then that just drops down on its own anyway, and essentially you just pull the door away. Some people have removed the seat, again I didn't bother. Some people have removed all this trim, again I didn't bother. So that's the door card up inside there. Other people have said they've had issues where the child lock has been on. So on this is a brand new lock that I'm going to fit. This is the child lock in the off position. Some people have said that they've taken off this, and I can't quite work out why, but they've drilled in through the body in order to make a big enough hole to expose that. Sorry, a big enough hole to expose this, and then they've got the screwdriver on the key and then given it a turn. And like I say, that's in the unlock position. When I've done this previously, when my child locks stuck on, I've just taken this off, this plastic, pulled away the trim, I put the seat, taken this seat back, and then if you're really careful, you can actually access the child lock from just inside here. You don't need to do any drilling of any bodywork. I'm fairly certain of that. So anyway, it's wet outside. You can't really, oh, there you go, there's some rain. So it's wet outside. I need to get this sorted out fairly quick, and I didn't want to go through the hassle of dropping the window, getting wet, undoing all the bolts, and then trying to get my hand or something up inside here in order to try to work out what the issue is, because I still didn't know what the problem was. So essentially what I've done, and this is the bit that you may as well just fast forward to. There's a couple of holes. So there's a hole with a grommet there, and inside there is simply the bolt for this pillar. So that's of absolutely no interest to me. The one that is of interest to me is this hole here. So inside here is a tiny hole. I'm trying, there you go. Right, so you can see that kind of angled piece. So it's currently angled at, you know, sort of 40 degrees. So you can just about see the top of it there. Well, that on here is, if I can set this up, what you're looking at is the top of this. Oh, stay still. Right, it's the top of this mechanism. And the reason I want to access that, and it was just by luck that looking through that hole I could see it, is I bought this as a brand new lock and basically sat playing with it for about 10 minutes to work out what did what. So if I just quickly run you through it. So this cable runs down inside, comes down this guide inside here, and hooks on the bottom of this arm. This, I think, hooks on to the top of this plastic arm here. Now, I've not taken the door apart, that's just my guess. And the reason I know that is because when I wobble this arm, I can see this move. Likewise, when I wobble this, I can see this move. So again, just my engineering judgment. Right, on the back, this is the bit that I guess if you got your hand up inside, you'd be able to access. This hook here, and there's other clips on YouTube where you can take off the door handle, or the small block to the right of the door handle if it's your rear near side door, and you can access this. So if you got in with a small hook, you could basically open up a hole, see this bit, and then pull this to the right. Oops, pull this to the right, and that's activating the lock as such. However, I couldn't open a door in order to remove the plastic block to the right of the handle. So the only bit I could work with was what I could see through that really small, probably 10mm at most, aperture there. So like I say, I could see the top of this arm, and I could also see a really small gap. So I knew that this plastic piece and this arm were roughly in this position, and I know that because I can also see in through the hole this kind of shape, this drop down curved shape here. So I was fairly confident that the lock was in this position. Now if I demonstrate how the lock works, like I said, it took about 10 minutes playing with a brand new lock. This was one I got off eBay. It's about something like £15.70 delivered, so it came with a warranty, so that's good enough for me. So when the door locks, it does something like that, and then when you double lock it, that arm goes over like so. Now assume your child lock isn't on, what happens is this arm, because of this cable, if you open the door from the inside, in fact it doesn't matter if you open the door from the inside or outside, essentially the same thing occurs, but I'll show you for the example of opening it from the inside. So the cable's connected on here. This moves up like so. Hear the click. You do it again. Now there's a wider gap between the plastic arm and the metal arm. Watch the lock open. Voila. So I knew that in order for me to be able to open the door, I needed this gap to be what, roughly 3/4 of an inch, kind of 2 and a bit centimeters. If I didn't have that gap, I knew I definitely couldn't open the lock, because it doesn't matter. Just put that down again. It doesn't matter what I do, if that gap doesn't exist, let's see if I can do it on the back. If that gap doesn't exist, doesn't matter what I do, that lock is still locked. So I had to find out a way to get that in the open position, allowing me to operate either the handle on the outside or this handle to physically open the lock. So there we go, that is lock open. So inside here, like I said, I could see the top of that metal arm, and then right up next to it, you can't see it now because I've moved it out of the way and I don't want to repeat the process of having to do this all over again. But if I move this down, inside here, there you go, can you see that white plastic, or the sort of bottom edge of that white plastic arm? Well, that is, oops, that arm just there. So that's the edge that I can see. So I know that because of the gap that exists between that position, that position and that position, right, there you are, that gap existed. Now before I started, it was a lot closer. So when I looked in through this angle, like so, I could see the metal arm, and right next to it, there's a void there at the moment, but right next to it was the plastic arm in the down position. So in order to get it up, I used this screwdriver, which was about, I don't know, 5 inches long, and about sort of 4 mil across. So it's just a pretty bog standard flat bladed screwdriver. Offered it in the hole, like so, and no more fancy than pushing it in, moving the screwdriver up, and then pushing the plastic arm all the way to the top, all the way to this position. Now it will take a little bit of fiddling about. It didn't happen straight away. Like I say, I had to fiddle about for probably about half an hour, but I did get it in that upright position. I did get it up there, as you can see. And then I grabbed hold of the cable and opened the door. Thank me later.